Okay, today we're going to show you how to build a basic set of rock sliders for your truck. The first step is going to be cutting the main rail to the length that you need. So in this case, the customer wanted 82 inches long, so I cut them to 81 3/4, and then we've got these little end caps. These little guys, those will get welded to the end just to cap them off. Those are an 1/8 inch, so that'll bring it up to 82 inches. So these are going on a 2004 Tacoma double cab. So yeah, first step, cap the ends, and then we'll start building up the tubes for the outside. They just want like a basic out there, cross, and then down flat, no bump out like these ones. These are the ones for my truck, a little more fancy. So we've got a kick out at the back, and then there's also like a fill plate that goes there. You just want me to fill plate?
Yeah.
Or should it be a secret?
I don't know, it's up to you.
Yeah,
They're pretty cool.
kind of. Toyota. So then those just go in there. So yeah,
Looks so
basically
good.
these are ready for powder coat, and then we'll get welded on. Yeah. Okay, so this fancy little guy is called a chevive, and it basically just deburrs the inside of a tube. So come on this side. You're just gonna, these will take your finger down to bone, so just be careful. And then you just go in, you go, and you see these little flakes that come off, and then it deburrs the inside so it's not sharp. So yeah, nice little tool to have. And then we'll do the same on the outside of the grinder.
Is this thing on, or?
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, we're on. Okay, now we need to figure out the layout for our bends. Because we want one to land right there with about a 1/4 inch off the end to where I cut it and notch it, and then the same on the other side. So we need to figure out where exactly to mark the tube and how long the tube needs to be. So this is called a cheater bend. So what I've done is bent it to 60 degrees, and every inch I've marked, and then that's the end of the bend. So I know that it takes us 7 inches to create a 60-degree bend, and you need at least 3 3/4 inches to the end so that it can fit in the tube bender to the end of here. There's lots of videos online about making these, so I won't go into great detail. So you're gonna set your cheater bend down. I've just laid out on the table a bunch of different slider lengths of ones that I've built. So right now we're doing 82 inches. So you're gonna set that down, and you're gonna figure out what center to center distance you want on your rock slider. So I'm gonna need that. In this case, we wanna do 5 inches center to center. So inside of the tube to the outside of the tube would be 5 inches. That will give us the center to center. And then you wanna line up this end as close as you can with that 82 inch, right about there, with a little bit of room to fill the weld. And then this is when we need to start writing stuff down. So we know that from the die to the end, you need at least 3 3/4, but to fit this in the notcher, I know that I need at least 6.5 inches. So we're gonna write down here, 6, 1 or 2, and then that'll be our die line for the 60-degree bend, 6.5, and then we'll mark on the tube right there, and that's where it'll be. And then we need to count out all these lines and then measure from here, and I've done the same thing on the other end of the table and marked the end of the bend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches, and then I marked it right there on the table to the very end. So now what we'll do is we'll measure from that mark all the way back to this mark right here, which is 65 3/4. So now we can write down 6.5 plus 8 plus 65 3/4 equals, so 6.5 plus 8 plus 65.75 equals 80 1/4. So the only two marks we need to do on the tube, since this is a super basic slider, is 6.5 inches and 80 1/4, and we'll be done. And then if you want to figure out how much excess tube you need to cut your tube to the exact length, but you should always leave a little bit extra. So like I was saying, you'll set that down. That's where our die mark is going to be. So you just go 80 1/4 plus 8 plus another 6.5 to fit in the notcher. So we're going to do that and then make sure we've got enough. 80 1/4 plus 8 plus 6.5 equals 94 3/4 is the total tube length that we're going to need to do this. So these ones are obviously long enough. Whoa!
Whoa!
Not easy tape measure. So yeah, we'll have plenty extra there. So maybe I'll just cut them to length so we're not dealing with a whole bunch of extra tube flying around. Okay, let's cut. Clean it. Okay, so we got our first piece cut, and now we're gonna lay it out, and then we'll bend it. So our first measurement is at 6.5. So we'll mark 6.5. So that'll be the first bend that we do at 60 degrees. I guess I'll show you this little tool that I made. So I just machined this little ring, and then I marked every 90 degrees on it so that you can lay out a tube. So it slips over. And then if you were trying to clock the tube at each different 90, you can mark the tube like that. It makes it a lot easier. But for this, we don't really need to do that. But it's also nice so you can just get a nice clean line all the way around with your Sharpie. So there's the first mark. And what was the second one? 80 1/4. I always like to measure from one end of the tube so that it's consistent. 80 1/4. So that'll be our second bend. Of course, this Sharpie's dying now. Love that. Love that for me. So close. I'm gonna.
Should be good.
I think we did good. Falls right within our marks. 82. A little bit of room for a weld. Perfect. Now we'll bend up the other one. Okay, now that we've got both of our main rails bent up, we gotta mark the notches. So we want a 5-inch center to center distance. So I've just measured 5 inches from this inside edge to the outside of the table. And then if you come in close on the table, this line right here is the outside diameter of the tube, 1.66. So all we have to do once we've set this up so that there's 5 inches from there to there is we take our little square and we line it up with the line, and then we just mark it right there. And that's where we're gonna line up the hole saw to notch it. Do the same exact thing on this side. This is the line from the die, which happens to be really close to that. So I'm just gonna get rid of that and then mark it. Okay, so remember that mark we made a second ago? There it is. And there's the hole saw, perfectly lined up. We've got it set up on the ladder so that this is parallel with this. I'll get a perfect notch. And now I'm just gonna hog through it. Missed it. With some anchor lube, of course. Finished notch, well, not finished, right out of the notcher. See, it fits pretty good, but it's just a sharp edge and we want to have a little bevel on it. So we're gonna grind it until it's got a perfect bevel and we can weld it. Now you can see it fits perfectly, and we'll be able to weld it right along there. Watch the tubes, and they fit really good, so that's good. And now we're gonna build the support tubes, and since these are just a basic straight slider, they're just gonna be straight, unlike those ones which are angled, which are a little bit more tricky, but still pretty easy. So.
For a guy like you.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it, honestly. I'm not a fabricator. I'm just a millwright. This is way above my pay grade. Anyways, we just measure in between the two tubes. So you could do the math on it and go center distance minus the outside diameter, and that would give us this center distance. But there's variables. Maybe I'm not perfect. Maybe it's not exactly 5 inches center to center. Okay, maybe it's like 5 and a little bit. So what I see there is 3 3/8. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut a bunch of tubes, not to 3 3/8, because we need enough room to notch them, right? And for this diameter tube, you wanna leave at least 1/3 of the tube diameter, which is about 5/8 times 2, inch and an eighth, 3 3/8 plus inch and an eighth. I don't know. We'll just cut all of them. Cool. Okay. This first one, it's all tacked up. We got all the supports in there. Looking good. Fit up really nice. So now I just need to do the exact same thing to the other one. Just make 3 more of these. Notch them, grind them up, fit them up, and then we'll do a final weld of it all. So we'll basically be done. The main part anyway. We'll set this aside, and then we'll do the other one. Marking it, and then I'll put it in the notcher, notch it, and then I'll measure that same center distance, so it's 3 3/8. From there, 3 3/8, mark it, and then I'll notch the other side. Do all 3, grind them, and then put them on the sliders. Got it? As you're building the next set. Okay, watch your eyeballs. Shit's gonna be flying. Okay, everybody look away. We're gonna start welding now. You don't want to hurt your eyes. First weld of the day. Not great, but it's gonna get better.
It's good to me.
And everyone on YouTube's gonna tell me how to weld anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Okay, can I stop it or no? You want me to keep filming?
No.
You want me to bring it home when you go poo too? It actually does look really good though, Ben. Looks fantastic. So good.
How much do you think those are worth?
Truly all of it.
Big enough turbo? Okay, well, they're done. Here's the finished product.
Okay, well.
You're done. Yep, it turned out all right. 82-inch slider. This is just like a weld-on kit that I sell. It comes with 6 plates, 6 pre-notched tubes that you can cut to length and then, you know, angle them up however you want. But for these particular ones, I'm going to be installing them. So I'll do a quick cost breakdown on how much it costs to build these and how much it costs to install them, so you can get an idea for like how much you could possibly make if you were doing a business or something like that, or just like selling them for cash. So my cost per foot for the tubing is $250. I used 428 inches, so 35.6 feet, $89 worth of tubing, and then this plate is $450 a foot, and I used 2 feet, so that's $9. Total cost of $98. The sale price for just this kit is $700, and then $350 for install. So basically the install just looks like this, where I fit them up to your frame, weld out all the plates, and then weld them to the frame. And then in between that, some people will opt for powder coating and stuff too, but this particular customer didn't want that, so we're just gonna be welding them on, and they're gonna paint them themselves. So 1,050, 952 profit. It took 3.5 hours to build all of this right here on the table, and then it usually takes another 2 hours to install. So I figure 5 hours total, so $190 an hour to do this. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if this was helpful. Probably not, but tried my best. Had her helping. See ya.
You're nothing.
You did it all. You're the freaking star of the show.
Yeah.
Deserves a head pat. Yeah. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Work it. Yeah. Oh, don't sweep up me.